I tested the shoe for over 50 hours. And early on, I walked away thinking, great shoe, but I'm not sure about the breathability. Then I took these to our pickleball getaway in Turks and Caicos. And session after session, my socks were bone dry, but our coaches were dripping wet. So I was curious, and I got the chance to talk to the lead designer of these ACV pickleball shoes, a man named Bryan Cioffi. So I got to bring up breathability to Bryan. And in our conversation, Bryan said something that reframed everything for me.
The coolest thing about pickleball is that is, for so many people, yes, it's their favorite sport, but it's also their means to exercise and be healthy. So like, come on, wait a second. There's a bigger, cooler prize here than just pickleball. You allow people to stay out. So like, can you keep them cooler? Can you keep their feet drier because they're not sweating all the time? Can you help them from rolling their ankle? Can you help them feel locked in but not cut their circulation off? Can you help them move around and aid their natural motion? All of those things were like, that was tantamount.
He didn't want a shoe that necessarily impressed you. He wanted a shoe that you didn't notice at all. As he put it,
we really, really wanted a shoe that came out of the box and was comfortable on the first wear. And it's funny to me that so many shoes aren't.
And then I brought up breathability, and he put it bluntly.
The goal was never to feel like you had a breezeway through your foot.
So suddenly the Turks and Caicos experience made a ton of sense. And this shoe became far more interesting than I expected. So in this video, you're going to hear the full conversation, the philosophy, the design decisions, the hidden details, and the obsession that went into a shoe that most people will never think twice about while wearing. And trust me, you're going to walk away understanding pickleball footwear in a way you never thought before. So please enjoy my conversation with Bryan Cioffi.
This was like my dream for a really long time, to start an independent footwear design agency that does not just design and development, lots of things. I didn't know what that was going to be at the start, but when we started, we were like, the big brands have this embarrassment of riches, all the best talent, all the best factories, all the connections.
Right.
They can kind of do whatever they want, and they're just sort of like self-fulfilling prophecy. Not that we don't work with the biggest brands, because we do, and they're still our dear friends. But Meg and I, not that we're like do-gooders, but I've always wanted to like try to do my part to level the playing field a little bit, and like, it's okay, well, why can't a brand that doesn't make footwear or only has one or two designers and they just don't know what we've learned.
Right.
We're not special. We didn't do anything better than anybody else. We're just you're in the sea for a really long time, and you just get to know all the answers to the test. Why couldn't we do that for other brands? Like, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And John called and he's like, hey, like, it's Franklin, so like, we don't really have other footwear, and I was like, wait a second. Oh, wait. Before you say anything, you're making the best pickleball stuff in the whole world, and you make the pickleball, right? Like,
Yep.
So come on, man. Like, of course. Yes. Like, and it's funny because I've sort of told the story a couple of times, but I mean, they called me, I was like, John, of course, like, let's do this, and let's try to do something that, like, let's try to make the best product we really can, and like really, really, really obsess the details in a crazy way that like the biggest footwear brand would do. And then maybe put some twists in it. And that's how we approached it. So I answered more than your original question, but yeah, the connection with John and the team, and then we got to know the team there as well, and they're our favorite people in the world. So it's been
we expect nothing less than from Franklin approaching a new product development like this. The easiest thing to do is just to throw, Franklin on, an existing running or basketball or court shoe, of course. But starting from the ground up is such, and you can tell that this was, just from the material to the I forget the Aerotech technology, which we'll talk about. I want to learn more about that. But how did you, what's day one look like on a project like this though? Is it market research? Is it talking to consumers? What is it?
The biggest thing was sort of like a three-headed approach. Market research to understand what's out there. What decisions have already been made? How have people approached this issue? Second was this is Meg's superpower, a real scrape of the real consumer, not some fake made up consumer, not some hype beast thing. Who's really playing?
Yep.
What are they wearing? How can we surprise and delight them? And who does Franklin want to address? But like, maybe we go back to Franklin and say, this is really who it is. And then getting to know the game and trying to be like beginner's mindset of, we can't approach this like anything else. No one's really made a pickleball shoe just for pickleball yet. And we started this project a long time ago. Like, that's really interesting. Like, yes, it's out now, but this process it was very intentional, which was amazing. So that was day one. Once we sort of got the brief, can we make it for this? Can we make it generally in this spec and generally in this cost? We were like, okay, yeah, we can do that. And then I remember the first meeting, we didn't look at sketches or drawings. There was no way to do that first. We had to really come to a consensus on, here's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. And we had that meeting first, and we talked all about the whole universe of pickleball, how we wanted to address it. And then I thought I was going to have to sell the team a bit more on like, I'm not going to just make a tennis shoe with you and rebadge it. We could, but like, there are some real nuances in pickleball that's different. Mm-hmm. And I tried to create like a USP for them, like a unique selling point. It's funny because that process became a pull, not a push. Everyone was like, well, we're only doing it like this now. And credit to the Franklin team. They had some other things that they had developed before, and they're like, we just don't feel good enough about this.
Wow, nice.
We just don't think it's like intentional, and we don't think it's the right path. They had some different soles that they had like looked at, and they were like, it's a tennis thing. It's not pickleball. It's the process we run with every single one of our clients now. Like, we do the USP first.
Yep.
And I was always trained. There's this thing in footwear where it's like, start with the consumer. I don't know how many people actually do it. It's the thing that made this project go for us. And we always came back to that. So we did all of that research first, and we picked out the things that we thought what we really wanted was to make something specifically for pickleball that when a real pickleball player, from a pro to the first time they were on the court, could tell that it was purpose built. Mm-hmm. And that's was our guiding light. And it's funny because everyone says some of the same things. And I'm like, it's nice that everyone's picking from. Talked to Hayden Patrickman the other day, and he was like, he says the same things that a couple of other people have said, like, man, the outsole, I like, you can't kill this thing. And like, I feel like I can get up on my toes and I can turn. And we were like, it's few and far between where you start, when you put all the sweat equity into it, and then people can feel it on the other side. Because sneakers aren't just sneakers. Like, everyone's like, sneakers is a sneaker. It's got a lace, but it's not. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that people have been able to feel those little nuanced differences, because they are different.
Yeah. Well, one of the, and not to, I don't like to, I'm interviewing you, not telling you us about our brand, but our
no, I want to hear it.
Primary promises for Pickleball Union is we want to get you better at pickleball. You know, that's typically a 3.0 to 4.0 level. But number two is we want to keep you playing as long as possible and make sure it's your lifestyle sport of choice. And what that means is injury prevention and recovery.
It's the biggest for us too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, it's been tough it's been tough talking to other brands about their products that don't see that as the core job of the shoe outside of performance. Like, you know, if you're not preventing injury with the shoe that you're building, you're like, what's the point?
You're allowing injury to happen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, people like to do gadgetry. And one of the things that, again, I'm very happy that Franklin got, I was like, let's not chase styling. Everybody does these plastic things that are styled and look like it would look really awesome on Instagram. let's make it look as amazing as we can, but like, let's meet the consumers where they are. Let's chase spec and build and do those things that will prevent foot fatigue, potentially prevent injury,
Mhm.
and not a big brace around your foot, but give you, I really wanted to focus on this idea that if you put everything in the right place, the signals will come through your body, and your body will help you prevent injury. You'll never get out over your skis because the shoe's not doing too much. It's not over-engineered. You're using the correct foam in the correct place. Again, like, don't chase a style that could take you away from that.
Mhm.
Build a thing that's going to aid and assist your body, and it like enable you as the player the best you can. And I do agree with you. Like, the coolest thing about pickleball is that is, for so many people, yes, it's their favorite sport, but it's also their means to exercise and be healthy. So like, come on, wait a second. There's a bigger, cooler prize here than just pickleball.
Mhm.
You allow people to stay out. So like, can you keep them cooler? Can you keep their feet drier because they're not sweating all the time? Can you help them from rolling their ankle? Can you help them feel locked in but not cut their circulation off? Can you help them move around and aid their natural motion? All of those things were like, that was tantamount. The rest was like, okay, when those pieces come together, that is what the styling will be.
Mhm.
And we can push and pull here and there to make it a little spicier.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was like 1000% in service to pickleball players and their anatomy. And you know too, right? Like, okay, the truth is, and a lot of designers and developers won't tell you this, but you know, this is like telling you water's wet. For someone like Hayden can go play in socks and he's still gonna, he's you know, he's a early 20-year-old kid, super in shape, very lightweight. He's just gonna glide around the court.
Right.
For some of us that are older, that aren't in our early 20s, you really want something that's not going to put you in a position that could get you hurt.
Right.
And as best you can, support you in the areas you need, keep you comfortable. That was really, really important to us.
Well, to me, and I'm in that older demo. When I assess a shoe, a lot of the best word I can come up with is afterthought. Is like, is my shoe an afterthought of my play experience? Am I worried about a hot spot I'm feeling? Am I worried about rolling my ankle because I'm uncertain about these shoes? Am I feet feeling wet because it's just, there's no breathability? And that's my number one, like, after play, do my feet feel good? Yes. But during play, especially, is shoe an afterthought? Because I'm thinking about 100 million other things besides.
You shouldn't think of them at all.
Yes.
That's the goal. And one of the things that we really worked hard on is, again, the breathability is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Traction and being able to sort of roll in and out of your motions, and almost be, again, as an afterthought, all the motions you do on a pickleball court, can you like enhance them here and there, but not overdo anything? And the other one, and I wonder if you had this experience too, we really, really wanted a shoe that came out of the box and was comfortable on the first wear. And it's funny to me that so many shoes aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my pet peeve as a footwear designer. Like, really? You have to, I know we can do it.
Yeah.
You know, so why don't we focus on that too, to sort of make it more inviting, that, like, you know, if you make something that is actually an afterthought but works, maybe people will go play pickleball more and more. Like, it's just like, oh, cool. Like, I'm really comfortable when I get out there. I just love to play. It sort of gives you a better memory of your time playing. So, and if you don't get hurt, and if you get your workout in, you're just going to do it more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. If I have to break in any shoe, I think about like snowshoes back when I was a kid. Like you gotta go through the pain before they fit your foot and they're comfortable and you're enjoying the the experience. But on a court, why am I paying $150 to have my find new pains in my body, which I don't need new pains, but I have to go through that too. So it's like my number one assessment on the first wear is like, am I going to be in pain after this session, or am I going to have to go back to another pair I already love? So
Yeah.
Let's talk about breathability, because it was the one thing I was like, it was the one knock I was like, is this really for me? While I was the original play testing I was doing was indoors, nice courts, so the traction was fantastic, but I played for 3-4 hours long sessions, multiple of them, and I'm like, I'm not sweating, but I do feel like maybe not as breathable. But I think mentally I'm comparing it to like a running shoe or just a kind of walk around shoes that I don't tighten. But you have this new technology, the Aero, and I'm gonna botch it. Aero, yeah. You say it again. Sorry. Aero Step. There we go. That it's intriguing. I can't recall another shoe that does this. This is, I mean, it's a trademark. The name is trademark, but the tech. Where did you get this inspiration?
So there have been other shoes that allow, or that have tried to bring in this full 360 breathability. And there's been all kinds of different running shoes and court shoes. It wasn't really just about the Aero Step. It was kind of more, yes, the Aero Step was a big one. But it was trying to create like a holistic system around the foot, where the goal was never to feel like you had a breezeway through your foot. Because again, that could potentially take you out of it. You'd notice it.
Right.
And there are running shoes on the market that when you run, you can feel it on your foot. It was always a little strange to me, especially when you're wearing different types of socks. And if you did sweat or you did get wet, that was the worst experience ever, because it's cooling a wet sock. It was really terrible.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do, it's almost like could we do it so it's subconscious? And the truth is, you sweat the most, and I'm sure you've noticed this with other footwear. When you get really sweaty and when your feet sweat, your foot is like the last thing to sweat on your body. You usually sweat out of the top of your foot. It's where your blood vessels are. You take your shoes off, and it's usually the top of your sock that's wet. Yeah. If you sweat all the way around your sock, you are really in it. You're in like a hot yoga class. It's awesome. It's gross. So the first thing we did was we engineered the tongue so that there was a ton of breathability through the tongue. And you can sort of see this in the shoe if you take the laces out.
Okay.
We used a very open mesh, and then all shoes have some level of padding in it. We cut holes specifically in that padding and then articulated the tongue. We didn't have to. It was added cost. It was more for the factory to do. You don't know that you feel it, but you really feel it. Mm-hmm. It really lets the sort of like the heat buildup escape from the shoe. Then, honestly, I'm not even going to lie. I borrowed this from my days at Converse. The medial grommets are the same medial grommets from a Chuck Taylor. They're a modern version of it. And my favorite part of the Chuck Taylor piece was like when you were playing basketball, that was letting you breathe.
Okay.
If you got wet on like a boat shoe, it would sort of run out. Those are really cool because we spec specific grommets that don't let water in, but it lets water and air out.
Okay.
So there's sort of a one-way piece. And if you go back to the 1910s and 20s, that's how temperature was regulated in footwear, because they were all leather and very hot. And I was like, okay, here's one that no one will get except like the footwear heads. And then the Aero Step piece was like, okay, if we can allow any heat that's trapped as you're really banging on your shoes, if you're sliding or if you're moving quickly, the thought was, could you push some of that air out? So it's
Oh,
not getting air in, it's letting the hot air escape.
okay.
So there's nothing caught underneath. That's why you don't feel wind.
Right.
Like, and that overall keeps your foot so much cooler than if you don't let all of it out. And you're not getting anything. You're not getting cold socks. You're not getting this like weird sort of like blow through feeling. It's this system that that was the thesis anyways, but it does actually work. And when you really feel it when you're in hot weather, like when you're in Turks and Caicos and you're playing outside, it's really different, and your socks aren't as wet and you're breathing the full time.
Well, the best comparison, and I wish we filmed this because Marco, our coach, obviously he's working harder than I am in Turks and Caicos, but he's wearing a very well-known competitor in the racket sport shoe space, and he's taking his shoes off outside the courts, and his socks are just drenched. And mine are just bone dry. Like I'm still in the heat. I'm still playing, but like,
Yeah,
man, the comparison was 100% different. So
it's cool that you saw it. The other thing is, and this is not a secret, a lot of the other racket and court sport footwear use a lot of plastic. And
really,
a lot of reinforcement. And you see a lot of those rubber sort of protection on the toe for slides or overbuilt uppers. And we talked about that at the beginning. And, I kind of just said to the team, look, that's what everybody else is doing.
mm-hmm.
We could be the exact same, or, we could make things a bit more classic. And classic is not a bad word. The
Right.
biggest, they're just more traditional materials that have been tried and true for a really long time. Some even work better than some of these plastic overbuilt pieces. They'll let your foot breathe more. It'll take longer to wear the shoe out, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And, depending on the way we color it, we can make it look very classic, very traditional, like the original. Yep. When people see some of the other colors coming out, they're not going to classify it as a classic shoe anymore. But then you don't have to do any of those sort of more plastic, more overbuilt pieces. And then all of those things, there were so many reasons not to do it. The shoe doesn't move as well. It's not broken in right out of the box. It doesn't breathe as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we sort of made the decisions we made to kind of build it like that.
Well, because you built it so well, like the plastic protecting the toe is on toe drags and stuff is, I mean, it's pretty common now, as you said, but the fact that you built this so strong, there's no wear and tear on the toes. Like it's crazy. They're like, the stitching is still impeccable. Like I could take these out of the box now and someone would be like, oh, you just try new shoes.
It took a long time, but to get the rubber wraps in the right place for what people are actually going to do.
Right.
I've also seen a lot of the shoes, especially tennis shoes, that have these really overdone toes. And I'm like, you're going to have more problems if you actually get on your toe that way, because your leg will be broken off. But then, honestly, the suede we used and the way we stitched it, the inspiration there is probably one that no one would get. I was really inspired by skateboarding.
Okay.
And, my other design partner at Meg Bryan not only is a professional skateboarder, he's a professional skateboard footwear designer. He did all of Converse's footwear forever. And we talked about, different things. We always talk about it. So it's always back of mind for me. Skateboard shoes are the most brutalized in all sneakers.
Right.
And the skateboard industry has really figured out how to do constructions where they never last. They don't. It's impossible. But they last a little bit longer than they have in the past. And we use some skateboard construction to make it, okay, we'll adapt this for pickleball. The shapes and all the way we did it is specifically made for pickleball, but the inspiration for that was from a completely different place. So it would stay impeccable for as long as it could, and you wouldn't wear the outsoles out. You wouldn't get through that toe.
Yeah.
And I also, there's a thing to be proud of. I think that also go to skateboard shoes too. It's like, could you wear this with just a pair of jeans or a pair of khakis to go to dinner after, and you don't look like a weirdo?
Right.
Like, that was a real thing. We were like, they'll look like sneakers, but they'll work on the court. That was a huge piece why we went that route.
Pickleball players don't want to carry their court shoes to the court and then take them off.
To the court, yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna,
of course,
restart this. Oops. All right. I'm still time conscious, so I want to jump to the V2 planning. And you already alluded to colors, and but like as you're developing new versions, new models, what's the approach there? I mean, obviously it's feedback from people like us and the user, but what's the approach here?
So exactly what we said. I think the first thing is build, well, if you go all the way back, build something good enough that you don't need to make it obsolete immediately. So the first thing is, as we're getting good feedback and it is working, do some new and unexpected things with it. How can we bring more color, more materials, more life? And then, yeah, I mean, feedback is the best thing that you can get. And it's not just give us good feedback. That's silly.
Right.
Let's scrutinize this thing, and every single thing, even if it seems like a throwaway, right? Mm-hmm. Let's hear that and take it back and make something the next time, make it worthy of building it again, right? So like, how is it truly demonstrably newer, better, and different? Mm. And that's it. And if it's not, then don't do it. Like, really. And I want to hear all the good ones, and the high fives are great. No, I want to hear all the bad ones.
Okay, can I give you one?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
This is it's such a nitpicky thing.
No, don't nitpick it.
The laces. I hate double knotting my laces. It's just a pet peeve of mine for a long time. The laces come undone a bit. They're a little slick, but for like once I wore them in, they're not undoing though. So it's more of a out of the box type of thing.
Those types of things are gifts. Like on the next pair, the laces, because we've heard a couple of things, like the laces for a couple of people, they were a little bit long.
Okay.
And a couple of people, like, it could be a little bit slick. Awesome. We'll go to a different compound on the next one. Like, those are the things. That's how you make the best product, though. And so many people want to just go, oh, don't tell me what's bad. Like, what about all the other things? No, I want to know the bad stuff. Because, again, that's like, those are the things that you can build a true amazing performance product on.
Yep, absolutely. And now that you mentioned the length of they were only a little long if I didn't double knot them.
Yeah.
But I imagine, I mean, that's going to be, you know, like you said, fixed in the V2. So what type of colorways are you looking for here in the next round?
So I think what's cool, we're working on them now, and we're sort of like finalizing. But what I can say is you'll see mild to wild. That's the thing that's most exciting.
Okay, all right.
There's going to be things that you see that you're like, awesome. That will work perfect in the thing that I imagined. Check. And then there's going to be some that you're like, whoa. So I think that's the part that's really fun. We're not leaving anything like off the table. And there's some other fun ones. Yeah.
Is one of them the classic X40 pickleball color?
I think you're going to see that color come up in that.
I mean, actually, the Franklin makes multicolor.
They do. They do. That color, though, that green, obviously, that you see it in the footbed. That was a big one where, and my push and my thought, no matter what the color of the shoe is, that should always be the X40 color, because that's always giving kind of a callback to Franklin. I wanted to put a couple of love letters in there. Obviously the X40 pickleball on the bottom of the shoe, and even the back of the shoe itself. One of the things that I was obsessed with when I was a little kid was I had Franklin baseball gloves, like batting gloves. And before I was like, I knew about product design or knew what cool products were, I loved them. They were just, I wanted to play baseball just, I think, to kind of wear those.
Right.
And I wanted to do something, even though it's just Franklin, the company in general. That Franklin word mark, I think, is so impeccably done that the whole inspiration for the heel of the shoe was the baseball glove.
Right.
Because like where it goes over your palm, it's almost the exact same size as that piece on the back. And I grabbed an old piece and just did it the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like all these little things for Franklin that are so cool. Let's just put those all on the shoe.
I like that. I mean, I like the callback to it, but I like the size of it, because the Franklin word mark was massive on the hand.
Massive, yeah.
It wasn't like a little Nike swoosh, subtly, but yeah, I like the callback there. That was cool.
Yeah.
Last thing, who is this shoe not for? I mean, we talk like you approached it for the everyman, the someone starting out, or like a 5.0, 6.0, 7.0 pro level player. But this is it.
People
a product isn't for everyone.
People that only play tennis.
Okay. All right. Okay. No. Actually, that's a good point, because there are a ton of crossover players.
Yeah.
Like they play multiple racket sports. Is this not for them?
No, I think you can't build everything for everyone. I think this is a shoe that is going to skew pickleball specific for sure. So I do think we've been hearing incredible feedback from the pros. And I attribute that to the way they're moving. They're moving just that bit more. So all of those things that were the real height of what we aimed to enable, I think they're getting the most out of it.
Right.
But I do think that anybody can wear it. I think it's for the people, let me say it this way. I do think it's for people that are nimble, that move around a lot, that, it's not built to run back and forth, and it's built to do what you do on a pickleball court. So like, I do think a tennis player might wear it and be like, okay, it's good, it's cool. But like, maybe I'm feeling better as I'm like moving across the back line, or I'm lunging forward, as opposed to like a hard run and grab something in a skate. You don't do that as much in pickleball.
Right.
It's those specific pickleball movements, pivoting, turning around. I could not believe how much you're doing a 360 piece in pickleball, which you're never doing that in tennis.
Yeah.
So I think that's really who it's for. But I do think it's one of those products that newbies that are just out there, their first time, can totally use it. It's broken in. It's never going to inhibit them. It's not like they don't get, a sneaker that's comfortable that works with them. I do think for pros though, that are and higher level pickleball players that are really nimble and really moving, they're getting the whole piece. Put it this way, right? Like, you build a really nice, fast car for the road. A person that can really drive and is like a trained race car driver can wring everything out of it. You and me just going down the highway, stepping on the gas pedal, we also get that like zing from it. So you kind of get that. I don't think there's anybody that couldn't plan it.
Agreed. Well, this has been excellent. I could talk to you for two or three or more hours talking about product development and pickleball. So I appreciate your time. Definitely want to stay in touch and learn more about the new products coming out. Happy to be a partner any way we can, and as we currently are with Franklin. Love you guys. And if you think of anything else you feel you want to add to the questions or your answers to my questions, don't hesitate to send them my way. But I'm talking to Jillian, I'm talking to Kara and John frequently. So we'll get this. And just so you're aware, this is going to inform a video that I've shot a ton of content while I've been playtesting, including in Turks and Caicos, which will be a lot of my, I messed up my original review sentiment for the video, because the breathability is just so much better than I originally thought. So, and then we'll be updating our review and then sending it out again to our audience to really pump it. So
it's funny, the only thing I would add is just, and we talked about it, but the thing that I would love people to try it, and the thing that I would love them to try the most, the breathability part is huge. The comfort is huge. There's so much work in that outsole that is really made for every surface we could think about. One of the insights that came from Meg's work was how people are playing pickleball everywhere, because the barrier is so low. It wasn't just pickleball courts in and out. We have all these photos of people playing, not only in the US, but like all over the world, on streets with a fence, on places that like there's not even a net. You're playing and you're just hitting it back and forth. And like, we wanted to create something that would work on almost any surface we could think about. And we really wanted to make something very anatomical that worked with you. And so, I mean, you can see it, right? Like you can see from all the data that we saw how you would move. That's kind of how the herringbone's made. But we tried to do some tricks where we made the herringbone a little bit deeper. And as you sort of move, the herringbone's a wiper. So yes, you think about, like, a lot of people don't know the reason herringbone works so well. One, it's omnidirectional. So it's not just straight lines, because that would only work back and forth. This was kind of from my basketball days where, yes, on amazing courts, in nice gyms, the floors are amazing. You don't have to have anything on the bottom of your shoe. It's just a piece of rubber would work amazing, like a racing slick.
Right.
But like the reason you have grooves in your tires, that's not what you face in the real world. There's dirt, there's dust, there's sweat, there's condensation. So how do you still get that same grip if you're outside, if you're indoor? So that's really why we built that. And we wanted to build it like mega grade, so it worked and you don't wear through it, and it's as good. Hopefully it works as good the last day you wear it as it did the first day you wear it. So that's the only other thing that just call out. Like, that was a labor of love, that bottom. Very proud of that bottom.
Well, we didn't even cover that, so thank you for picking that up, but sharing some more. A team member of ours plays frequently in the winter on carpet in a church. So I don't know if you tested on carpet, but we'll have to. I know he's ordering a pair of
that one.
I mean, people will play anywhere just to play pickleball. So I still play on street, like concrete, under a bridge in Milwaukee here during the summer. So, and it gets slick. So this herringbone is great for that. Are you gonna enhance or like update it, enhance it? Have you seen any improvements there?
Yeah, I think that's, on the next version, that's always the goal. What new compounds do you have? How do you make it do what it does even better? So that's all the goal is, how do you make it newer, better, different? That's really the sort of space. And there's, talks of some other things that you'll just have to wait for, because we have some other good ideas. I think the team is, the team has some really great ideas, and I think the coolest thing I can say about Franklin, not, not being internal, right? So like I can give you the real assessment of it. The best thing about doing product with Franklin is that every single person at Franklin just wants to make the best stuff. And it's like, if it takes a little longer, that's okay. And that's what I would say to anybody watching or anybody listening or reading, or when you get a Franklin product, the amount that went into that, that's why it feels different.
Yeah.
Like that's why the X40 ball feels different. Like they're always coming back with like, oh, you got to try this new paddle. I'm like, how is it going to give? I don't know. I'm not like a professional pickleball player. How's it going to feel better than I'll even in my own, I sort of gauge it by if I can feel it, and I'll get a new paddle or a new racket, and I'll, I'm like, wow, I can feel this.
Yeah.
So if I can feel this, what does someone that really knows what they're doing feel like? And just, again, I can just see how hard they work on everything. It's really cool to work with the brand. Not all brands care.
No. Right.
They don't. And we, we try to work for the ones that do. Every once in a while, we'll get one and we're like, oh, come on. Like, we could make it better. And like, no, we can make it cheaper. And you're like, oh. It's just the killer of people that obsess product.
Well, putting that amount of obsession into a pair of shoes that only costs $100 or $130. I think I misquoted. I said $150.
That's $130.
Yeah.
It's that thing of like, how can you make it? What an amazing compliment that we give each other in the footwear industry is like, that's a lot of shoe for that price. All of my friends are like, this is a lot of shoe for that money. You're like, okay, cool. Thank you. That's the feedback I've been getting from my footwear family. So that's a good call out.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Bryan, like I said, I appreciate your time. Hell of a product you guys developed together, and we can't wait to see more.